Welcome to the Parents of High Achieving Students podcast, where we talk about acing tests, boosting GPAs, and getting into the top colleges. Now, here is your host.
Welcome to the Parents of High Achieving Students podcast, where we talk education with parents, students, and educators. I'm your host, Tim Bruni. Today, I have some very special guests, Tina and Marie Boyd. This episode is brought to you by Prep Expert. Prep Expert is leading the way with online SAT and ACT prep, and now offers one-on-one tutoring in over 100 academic subjects, including all of your AP courses and exams. Go to prepexpert.com and use the code PODCAST to get a discount on SAT and ACT courses, and use the code podcast-TD to get a discount on one-on-one tutoring. So Marie, I've heard you're quite the whiz in school. What are your grades and test scores like?
Well, I am currently a junior in high school, and I have taken pretty much all accelerated and honors AP courses since freshman year. I'd like to take the most challenging curriculum I can, and I've pretty much gotten all A's and 2 or 3 B's here and there. But I really just try to do my best in school, keep that GPA high and prepare for college. As far as test scores go, I first took the ACT June of last year. So I was just finishing my sophomore year in June 2021. I got a composite 26 on the test, the first test I took. I got a 28 in math, a 27 in science, a 26 in English, a 24 in reading, and a 10 on the writing. And then over July, I took the 6-week flagship ACT prep course, which, yes, it entails a lot of work, but it guarantees you'll get a 4-point bump, which was really helpful at motivating me to study and to do the homework and the practice tests. And so then I took the test again in July, and I scored a composite 30. And I have gotten a 27 in that math, a 30 in science, a 35 in English, a 29 in reading, and an 8 on the writing. So then I also took the test again in September because I really wanted to increase my math section. I scored a composite 30 again, which I thought was fate because that is exactly 4 points from what I got in June. But this time I scored a 33 on the math, a 26 on science, a 27 in English, a 33 in reading, and a 10 on the writing. So the final time I took the test was this past March of 2022. And I said, this is the last time I'm going to take it. I studied, it was offered at my school on site. I studied using the Prep Expert 2-day weekend review course. So it kind of goes over all the material in the Saturday and Sunday right before your test. And on this test, I scored a 32. I got a 31 in both math and science, a 35 on English, a 30 on reading, and an 11 in the writing section. So nice. I was really proud, and I was really, really excited that Prep Expert helped me increase my score from a original 26 to a 32 composite my last time taking it. And then all of these combined creates a super score of a 33 composite. So I am really, really proud of that.
Yeah, that's impressive. That's like 7 points up. Now, you obviously, like you said, you put in a lot of work to get that done, but that's super helpful. And it seems like that weekend review kind of gave you that extra little boost for those extra points towards the end.
Yeah, so it was really helpful because it had been almost a year that I'd taken the 6-week flagship course, which is very, very detailed. And it was great. We met twice a week for 3 hours and then had homework to take tests on the weekends, but I hadn't taken those tests in 6 or 8 months. So I said, I'm going to dedicate myself to kind of reviewing at this 2-day review course. And it really just kind of honed in all those points. And it was very similar strategies that we talked about. And the teacher helped us go in depth on things that we were confused on. My science section was the one I struggled the most with, actually. And it was kind of my lowest score, and I really wanted to get it up. And so I told my teacher that, and we spent more time on it in that review session, which was really great because it helped me bump my score. So, yeah.
Yeah, science is tricky, especially because it's at the end of the test. So it's hard to not be exhausted at that point. Like there are a lot of things you could do during the breaks and during the test to like try to keep your energy up. But at the end of the day, it's a long time but before you even get started on the science section. So that's like, anytime I see a science score in the 30s, I'm impressed. More impressed even than high scores in math and English, because English is first. Like it sounds like you only got like one question right that one time, or one question wrong. One question right would be very different.
Yeah.
That would be less good.
That would not be as impressive, but I totally agree. I've always thought that English is the easiest. It's the first one you take. And I think it's one of the longer tests. It's 45 minutes, but I felt like that one always goes by way faster than the rest of the tests. So I think that's why it was easier for me to score so well on it. And yes, science, I think one of the biggest struggles is either being able to read the graphs after you've taken like a 3-hour test, or just being able to keep that endurance up. And then you know that you have to take the writing portion after it. So it's very much of a mind game when it comes to getting down to the last couple questions.
Yeah, reading the graphs, it can sometimes be like, wow, wow, wow. Yeah. Like the lines start to blur.
Yeah.
But there's a rumor that one of these times you didn't even bring your calculator.
Yeah, so that is a very good point. I did not bring my calculator. I was in a total rush and I signed up for the July ACT late. So I was on standby. We called them the morning of my test. It was like July 17th. I remember the exact date. And we called and we were asking. It was at a hotel because it was over the summer. And they're like, yeah, if you get here as soon as you can, you might be able to get a spot, because if you're on standby, they have to kind of let you in if like there's people missing. And it took the first 6 kids, and I think I was either the 5th or the 6th kid there. But I didn't realize until I finished my English section that I left my calculator at home charging on my dining room table, because I just wanted to be there to take the test. So that was why I really wanted to get my calculator and have that and take the test for real. So that's why I took it again in September.
Oh my goodness.
Note to self, I would write a Post-it note and stick it on every single, like on your bathroom mirror, on your desk, on the front door, like on your steering wheel before you leave your driveway, to bring your calculator, to bring lots of pencils, to bring an eraser, and to bring a granola bar and some water. That is like, have a list of all of that. Otherwise you will forget it. So
a granola bar and water. That's your official snack. I'm more old school. I go with like hard-boiled eggs and a banana. And I know not everyone likes the smell of hard-boiled eggs, but I don't know. I'm weird like that. The granola bar sounds like a lot more practical now that I think about it.
Yeah, you know, the chewy oats granola bars that are like s'mores flavored with marshmallows, those are mine. And then like maybe like a bag of Swedish fish just to top it off.
You know,
and celebrate with ice cream.
Yeah, and then right after I take the test, and our tradition is, I think I did it every time. As soon as the test was over, we'd go get ice cream. So
now we were talking about ice cream before, so I hadn't heard of these flavors. Like I'm basic. I told you, like for me, it's the vanilla and orange swirl that I get on the boardwalk with the waffle. But you had some like crazy color combinations, and
oh yeah. When
so
I was little, I was obsessed with Blue Moon, because it's kind of like the prep expert color blue, actually, like, like, I don't know, but it's a really gorgeous blue and it tasted like cotton candy. And so that's like the perfect combination. So for my entire childhood, that was like my go-to flavor. But whenever they didn't have it, I would have to find something else. So I was like, okay, I like, chocolate chip cookie dough. I like regular chocolate chip. There was a mint chip phase, I think. And then now we're kind of all at the Superman ice cream kind of phase. So
all of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, all of everything within me. So it's a bright blue, red, and yellow ice cream that's like swirled. And I feel like it's more sherbety than ice cream, because when I think ice cream, I think like chocolates and like vanillas and like spumoni sort of thing. But this is more like sherbety, and it's got like a really sweet flavor and bright colors, and I don't know, it's very good. I highly recommend Superman ice cream.
Yeah, I mean, that actually makes sense now, because I know you're very into art. I saw a little bit of your art, and the colors really do stand out. How long have you been doing art for?
wow, since I could hold a pencil pretty much since I was like pretty much born. It's always just been my go-to thing to do when I'm stressed, when I'm bored. I mean, pretty much all the time. And as far as the colors go, I'm a very colorful person. I'm very much an extrovert. And so, you
Mhm.
know, I kind of express that in my art. And so everything I do is very vibrant, very colorful. And I mean, I just really like the use of those bright pinks and blues and royal purple, which I know that you love your royal purple.
I
So,
love real purple. My water bottle is like a royal.
oh, oh man. But yeah, so I've been doing art for as long as I can remember. And recently I actually just submitted a piece of artwork to the VFW auxiliary contest. So we'll be hearing back from them in a couple of weeks, but I had to do a piece that was representing patriotism, and often the ones that win or are chosen are like portraits. So
Yeah.
it has to be an original piece. And so I had to get a picture from my best friend of her grandpa. And it was really sweet because her grandpa had died a couple years ago, but I drew a picture of him, and he was a veteran, and I drew a picture of him in charcoal, and it was like black and white, and it was very delicate, but like it was very much a tribute to him. And then my little like addition of patriotism, I made it like so he was in the clouds, and his wings like were angel wings, but they had the American flag on it. So that was my little tribute to the patriotism element.
Nice. You actually reminded me of my own grandfather. He was in World War II, and he's an artist, right? He went to Carnegie Mellon, but in World War II, he would draw the pinups on the bombers. You know how they had the pictures of the girls on the planes?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's something that he did, which
Whoa.
you just reminded me of.
Aw.
Yeah, I didn't
That's
tell her. I
incredible.
saw that on the obituary that
Yeah.
he had such an incredible, diverse life, and I thought, wow, that's amazing that he did that.
That's truly incredible.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. Just trying to be like him. So I know you've got a lot of other activities as well, like student government, you're involved in sports, you might be doing some internships later.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Junior year is really busy, but I've been playing volleyball since I was in 5th grade, and it's totally a passion of mine. It's very different to my passion in art because you have the whole team thing, and there's leadership on the court, and there's competition, but like very much you have to be disciplined to train. And so volleyball is very much a huge part of my life, and I kind of have that as my balance to schoolwork. Because it's something I love a lot, but it's still a really big commitment. It's a great way to, get some physical exercise in. So that's always a plus. And I'm on varsity this year, my junior year, and then I'm going to play my senior season this fall, which is really, really sweet. So I'm excited. And then
and you're a southpaw, right? That's rare in volleyball. That's like the secret weapon in your team, isn't it?
I would like to think so. So yeah, I'm a lefty right side. So lefties are really rare to come by. And so when you have a lefty playing volleyball, it's, kind of like a little secret weapon sort of thing, because the way and the angle that you're coming from the ball, and you just have a much better read on where it's coming from. And so it makes your hit all that much more unexpected and aggressive, which is kind of cool. And it kind of throws off the other side of the net when they're like, oh, lefty.
Yeah.
And so it's really, really fun to kind of see that play out. And I feel like really, like I kind of like laugh to myself when I hear them saying lefty on the other side of the court, because they have to kind of adjust where they're playing. And that makes me feel like kind of cool. So yeah, volleyball is huge. As for my little school bubble, I'm involved in a lot of different leadership things. I am such an extrovert that it kind of transfers to being a leader very naturally. I'm a student ambassador, so that's probably my favorite leadership thing I do at school. So I get to give shadow days and tours to prospective parents, families, and children, and show them my school and explain to them why I love it so much and why they should come. And then I'm also involved with things that are kind of for the current student body at the school. So like there's this thing called SAD, which is Students Against Destructive Decisions. So I help plan mental health weeks. I make the little posters and things, kind of pair it with my passion for art, all those cool things at school. And then over the summer, I am looking forward to maybe doing a internship at a pediatrician office with some family friends, because I love children so much, which is probably why I really like being a student ambassador. But since I love children, I really want to work with them in the future. And so I've always kind of envisioned that as, being a pediatrician or something in that field at least. So yeah, it's kind of the plan for now.
Dude, that's awesome. That's a lot. Tina, I know she's not very shy and she's got a lot going on. Is there anything that she forgot or anything that you're most proud of all her accomplishments? I know you got a lot to pick from.
This day and age, I'm just so happy to raise healthy, happy, hardworking kids. I think, like I said, I am very happy and extremely proud of both my kids. I also have a son who's a freshman in high school, and Amari actually is she's very type A. She's very organized. She's extremely hardworking, really dedicated, and is very, very passionate about whatever it is she takes on. And so I was very happy when she decided to do Prep Expert, because I knew that she would dedicate herself to the entire program and, follow the rules and, do the homework and take all the practice exams. And I think that's why it paid off, because she was very disciplined about doing what was expected of her. And I do think that, that there was a lot of learning. I mean, I remember sitting in on some of her lessons just to hear it. And I feel very happy that we chose Prep Expert. I remember seeing it on Shark Tank years ago, way before she was even ready for this. And I'm like, oh, wow, I got to remember to use them when it's her turn to take the ACT. And we're really, really happy we did. It's a great story. And I think that the classes actually, they're very, they're great the way they're structured. I like that it's live and it's just not a pre-recorded thing that they listen to. I think some programs offer that, and this was live instruction with very, very knowledgeable teachers. And I think that she enjoyed that it was integrative, where she could ask the questions and, right away get feedback and learn why she didn't get this one right, so that she can, hopefully get it correct when she did take the test. And I also remember sometimes she'd walk out of the sessions on Sundays and be like, oh my God, I wish I knew this back when, because, the strategies and the skill sets that they teach you can use truly throughout your life when you're in school. I mean, especially these days, all the tests, there's so many now that are multiple choice, and the tools and the skills that they teach you and the strategies on how to eliminate the choices that are incorrect to improve your chances of getting a better overall score, not just on the ACT or the SAT, but just throughout all the other tests that you're taking in your life. I think those are valuable skills. I wish I had something like that when I was growing up, because I found some of those things really challenging. And it seems like that there's a science to, these two are definitely out. So it's between, A and C or whatever, or when in doubt, you should always pick this answer. Just those things. I think that they're really valuable tools. And, for all the parents out there that are confused on which way to go, and, it is, like anything else, it's worth the investment. I feel like it was a good value. I think it was the only program that actually had a money back guarantee on if your student does not get a 4-point bump on the ACT, and I can't remember, I think it's 200 on the SAT, that you will be refunded. And I think that speaks a lot for, the value that you get. And I think that much like anything else, you put in the work, you'll hopefully be able to reap the benefit. So yeah, I mean, we're at a point in our life where, this is a great investment in the long-term future success of your children. And I think it's very, very well worth it. I just realized I sounded like an infomercial.
I know. I'm like,
okay.
I swear I did not pay to have you say any of that.
No, but I really feel it. I mean, that's part of the reason we're doing this podcast, is to, share our experience with Prep Expert and talk about why it was helpful. And, I'm hoping that we can, recruit your services again when it's my son's turn to do this.
Yeah.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I teach some of the ACT courses myself. And so does Josh. So if you want to take it with Josh too, I won't be too offended.
No,
'Cause-
that's great. I didn't realize that you were teaching still at that level. That's awesome. We're definitely gonna ask for you.
Yeah,
Krishan
in
needs to
fact-
be like two peas in a pod, two peas in a pod.
Yeah.
I actually take the test on a fairly regular basis just to keep up with it and to remind myself of what the students have to go through.
I was gonna say,
I-
what
that is-
mental torture? Why would you do that for yourself? Part of the
It's
job, right?
part of the job is, I mean, I haven't had to wait outside of a hotel and hope that I was number 6 and not
Yeah.
like
Fun experience.
with no calculator, so maybe I didn't get the full experience. But yeah, I go there and I'm the weird old guy taking the test in a high school. But
Oh wait, you take it on site? You actually
Yeah.
go and, oh wow, okay,
I get the ticket printed. I get you saw my calculator collection earlier.
wow.
I get a calculator, I get my snack, which is a little different from Marie's snack, but that's okay. We can disagree on
So
snacks.
I have to ask, over the years that you've done this, have you
Yeah.
found the test to be, and it's probably not a fair question, but you know, now that she's done with it, have you found the test to be more challenging or less challenging over the years?
I feel, and it depends because every single test is
Different, right?
not super different. But they're definitely unique experiences. I find the most recent SAT, because I can't think back to every single test I've taken. The most recent SAT I took felt like a lot of the math was dialed back. That was not so with the ACT. But that's just my experience. I'd rather do some statistical analysis to be sure, because that's just my blink based on the past 2 tests that I happened to take. Someone else could have gotten like a different version, but that's why I try to go regularly to keep up with. Like we talked about earlier, like that science section at the end is consistent. That's one thing that's consistent. That hasn't gotten any easier. But for students that are good at science and good at reading tables when they're tired, if you're really good at understanding diagrams, like when you're already mentally exhausted, like take the ACT science section, you will stand out for sure.
Yes.
I think that that's part of the psychology. They try and like
It's such a mind game.
Yeah, it's such a mind game. They try and hit you with the hardest when you're already so tired.
Yeah.
Part of that's the unsaid part of the test.
I agree.
Let's see how
Yeah.
you do under pressure when you're completely exhausted and spent. But yeah, it was a great experience, and working with you and Glenda has been an absolute pleasure. You guys really make it worth the effort.
Glenda's that's my homie.
Yeah.
Glenda's my girl.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice just for parents in general? Like, it sounds like you've got 2 really, really good kids, and sometimes parents struggle to end up with kids like you did. So you must be really
it's a blessing. It really, really is. And all kids, regardless of the challenges they face, is a huge blessing from God. And I think we just have to take what we have and do our best to give them the opportunities to flourish. And I really believe that, giving them an opportunity to take the test. I know it's really challenging. I definitely would highly recommend doing the course over the summer.
Yes, for sure.
I can't even imagine with somebody as motivated as Marie, that there's no way she would have been able to do this with the regular school course load. It's just the days in school, and then if you've got sports or extracurricular activities, then you come home and you have homework. There's just no time to structure a day, to invest in all that extra studying. So if you can knock it out in 6 weeks,
the summer before.
Your junior year, that would be the ideal time to take the test, because everyone else in her class was completely scrambling, trying to prepare, trying to go through the big overwhelming books, or even now trying to bump their score during the middle of 4th quarter of their junior year before college apps, and it's extremely stressful. So I think the timing definitely was probably one of the smartest things we did. And then finding a way to, there's also you actually are pretty good with your deals. There's definitely periods of the time where you get discounted rates, a couple hundred here and there off with coupon codes called Glenda. Sorry, Glenda. She'll give you the best deal because, truly, I think that this company is invested in helping students achieve better scores on their tests. And they make good on that promise. It's not just, oh, we're going to do this, because there's other companies that you see where they say that, and and it's not necessarily the fault of the company. I think students have to bring their effort as well. But I do think that Prep Expert does a nice job of making good on what they offer.
Thanks. Absolutely. And Marie, do you have any tips for students?
Yeah, okay. As a student in general, first of all, when you do take the ACT, do not forget your calculator. Write Post-it notes like everywhere. And I mean, even if you charge it 2 days before and then the day before the test, so yeah, also charge your calculator. Also important. And because it comes with the cable. And I mean, I don't know if you know this with your vast calculator collection, but I lose the cable probably on a weekly basis. Mm-hmm. So making sure that you have the cable to charge it the week before, and then 2 days before making sure it's charged, and then putting it in your bag in the car the night before, so that the morning of, you're already going to be stressed out, but you're not going to worry about forgetting your calculator if it's already in the car. So that's a big one for the ACT, at least for the day of. But one thing that I really, really think was helpful was having that structure of a class, as well as I paired it kind of with my own study schedule. So I'd be okay, on this day, I'm going to do this homework, and really kind of organizing your time is super important when you're at this level of, in your educational career. So, it's kind of trial and error with time management, I would say, but you got to figure out what system works for you. I have a 5-star planner, which is actually amazing. And it gives you space to put in all your subjects and things. And so, I mean, I fill it out religiously. So figuring out what works for you to make sure that you're prioritizing school, but also making sure that you have time to do, for example, making sure you're sleeping. That's really important as well, especially for the test. Sleep a lot before the night of the test. And kind of just figuring out how to structure your day will really help with your mentality going through this crazy process. I would say to really, pay attention to the strategies that are taught if you choose to take the course, because committing to those strategies, it's not just going to help you in the test. I mean, of course, it will help you, with the huge time investment it takes of all the studying, you'll get a relatively rewarding payoff. I would like to think, at least, but really they apply in so many other ways. I mean, they'll help you on AP exams. There's every AP exam, almost all of them have multiple choice sections. It's very similar mindset. And the endurance thing is huge. When you're taking all these practice ACTs over and over again, you're not only training yourself to, score higher on the science section and get through the writing section, but you're learning how timing is such a huge part of taking tests, whether you're in school, in a classroom, or you're in standardized testing, whether you're taking the ACT, SAT, or you're in college taking the MCAT or the bar. It's a life lesson. I think that's something that's really valuable that I've learned from this course. And it's very much a mental game as well with timing, and being able to say, okay, I can skip this problem and I'll come back to it. Or, I'm between these two, that's enough. I'll move on and let my brain subconsciously work on it. And another little tip is when I was mentally exhausted from studying, because I think I literally looked at ACT for 6 weeks straight, which is a really, really, really stressful feat. It's very daunting and intimidating. And when you're mentally tired of that, I found it so difficult to sit down in my kitchen and take a full-on 3-hour ACT test every Saturday. So what I would do is I'd split them up. I'd take an English section on one day and a math section on another day, and organizing that based on what else I had going on in the day and how my level of energy would be was really helpful, because you're still doing the practice problems and you're still getting your work done and you're still preparing yourself, but you're doing it at a pace that's healthy and kind of will gradually lead you into the right speed and right endurance and right timing for these crazy fast tests. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's super helpful. Thanks. So before I let you guys go, thank you so much for being on, but we talked a bit about travel earlier. And real quick, for each of you, what's the favorite place you've ever visited?
This is difficult. I really, really, really love going to Florida. And I know it's like in the US and it's close, but I think it's not even just the gorgeous weather, because right now we're in cold, murky, rainy spring weather. And that's not my favorite weather. I love being on the beach. So every time we go to Florida, we go visit my cousins. And so the memories in Florida and the weather and the water of the ocean, that's amazing. Like when I grow up, I want to go be by a beach all the time, even if it's like Lake Michigan, because I'm staying near home. But I mean, being by any sort of beach will do for me. So I think Florida is the favorite because it's like that year round and because I have family down there. So yeah.
That's good.
Awesome.
Thank you.
How about you, Tina?
Well, I love Italy. I love everything. I love my family, and that's great. We do love visiting them in Florida, but if you haven't been, I highly recommend it. It's really, truly such an incredible place. It's filled with history and art and fantastic food and the most divine ice cream you've ever had.
I wonder if they have Superman.
And it's beautiful. It's unfortunate because I think COVID really, really shut them down for a while, but hopefully things are turning around and, everything will pick up and maybe someday we can all go there again.
Yeah, I would love that because I haven't yet to go and I really, really would love to visit.
Yes. You should get there, Tim.
All right, I'll put it on my list.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tina and Marie Boyd. This has been Parents of High Achieving Students podcast. Have a great one.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was great.
Thanks, Prep Expert. Good luck.
Thanks for joining us today. Knowing and doing are two different things. So please implement what you've learned today to make great things happen.